Hey, what's up guys? Phil Harris here. Phil Harris from 2 years ago. The Phil Harris used to wear vests and didn't care what anyone thought about him. Well, that Phil Harris is back. It's a hot day here in the UK and some of you may have to see my armpit hair if at any point in the video I decide to raise the roof. So, in this video, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be telling you about my favorite DJ effect, Flanger. Okay, I'm going to be running you through why I think it's a good effect. I'm going to show you examples of it, and for you geeks out there, you absolute geekazoids who want to know exactly what Flanger is doing and how it's creating that sound, I'm going to jump on my computer at the end of this video and just really super quickly just show you exactly how and why it creates that sound. So look, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to throw together a little mix. It's like a typical mix I throw together on Instagram. I do daily mixes like this on Instagram, so if you don't follow me, go and check me out at Phil Harris Music. And I'm just going to throw a bit of flange on this, and we're going to have a bit of fun with it, okay? So let's just get this set up. From here, let's just go.
Check my, check my, check my, check my, check my chest, my breath right quick. He ain't never seen it in a dress like this. He ain't never even been impressed like this. Probably why I got him right on the set like this. Like it, love it, need it, bad. Take it, own it, steal it, fast. Request it, play it, grab my ass. Something like you shine. Shut it, save it, keep it real. So why you run the bush and knowing you want all this love? All of them bitches hating, I have you with me. All of my niggas saying you mad committed. Really to anybody you had them pretty. All of the body, I need ass and titties. Moving kind of slow. You gotta keep it up now, there you go. That's just one thing that a man must do.
God, how good is that? That just, sometimes I find these like little vocals and tracks that just go so perfectly. I'm like, why is that not the original track? Anyway, look, so here's the thing. Flanger. The way it works is this, okay? It creates a swirling kind of sound, okay? So if I just put it on the vocals here and put it on, you're gonna notice it creates this kind of sound. Now, you can find Flanger on these DJ decks here. You know, if you've got these DJ decks here, you'll be able to go and find it as well. Now, here's the thing, right? What you're gonna have on your DJ decks is this little thing called beat, okay? Now, what this does is it changes the speed of the. If you put it down lower, it goes. If you put it even lower, it goes like this, okay? Let's have a little listen to this. In fact, I'm going to put it on this track over here. So let's put this to 2, and let's have a quick listen. I'm going to put this up quite high, and I'm going to turn it down. You'll hear it going. Right, you see what's going on there? Now, why do I love this effect? Because I feel like it works really nicely with build, especially if you've got a track, whether it's deep house, whether it's a big EDM bang or whatever it is. If you feed in a bit of this flange, little bit of the flanger, and it waves back and forth, and as it gets close to the point where it drops, you just make that beat quicker and quicker and quicker. A subtle amount of this just sounds really, really nice. Now, another thing to bear in mind is if you're throwing acapellas over a track and then you put it to master so it affects both tracks at the same time, because this swirling happens on top of both the layers, it creates a gluing effect. It sounds like the two tracks are put together normally because you've added an effect over the two of them. Now, of course, that will pretty much apply with most of the effects out there, but I feel like it works really, really nicer with flanger. So look, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to the build in this track, and I'm going to use this flanger as a way to kind of build tension in the track before the drop. Now, this is deep house, it's not like a regular big drop, but let's go and have a listen. Again, really extreme. extreme example there, but you can see how freaking awesome this is. So look, that's one of my favorite effects at the moment, Flanger. Now let me give you a quick brief run through of how this actually works. Some of you may find this quite interesting. Ever seen some noise cancelling headphones before? Ever heard through them? And it creates this kind of like weird synthetic silence. The way it actually works is this, right? If I was to zoom right in on this, you can see waveforms. Now if I was to zoom right in, the waveforms would look a lot longer because we'd have zoomed so far in on them. The way noise cancelling headphones work is it creates a secondary version of that exact waveform and then flips the polarity of the waveform. Wow, Mum, look how intelligent I am. Mum doesn't live with me, I live by myself. With my wife, thank you. So here's the thing, say the waveform looks like this. And let's just say the one waveform goes up and down, like that. If you flip the polarity, the waveform would then go down and up. Now, you'd think even if you had two waveforms that were just stacked on top of each other, it would make the sound twice as loud. But the weird phenomenon about this is when you play one waveform that goes down and one waveform that goes up, and they're the exact same waveform in the opposite direction, they actually, you've guessed it, cancelled out the sound. It creates silence when you do this. I'm going to jump on the computer and show you this in a second, but I'm just enjoying explaining this to you from here. Now, here's the really crazy thing. Say you've got two waveforms that are exactly the same, like this, going up and down like this, and just move them slightly, ever so slightly out the way of each other. It still creates a bit of this cancelling out, but in the world of DJing, we call it phasing. Don't phone me right now. Sorry, I just had a phone call. So as I was saying, if you get a track and it has a waveform that goes up and down, for example, and you had two of those tracks and then slightly just budged the two tracks out of the way of each other, just by a fraction, what it does is it begins to create a slight element of this cancelling out. In the world of music and DJing, we call this phasing issues because they can begin to cancel each other out and cause quiet sound, quiet bits in the music. So what Flanger is doing is it's creating a double of your track technically, and then ever so slightly moving these two tracks in and out of each other by an absolute microfraction, and it creates this. It's absolutely crazy. Look, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump on the computer and I'm going to show you this. Okay, most awkward camera angle ever. I'm going to show you phasing in action. If you look at my screen here, I'm on Ableton Live. As you can see, there's a waveform of a song here. If I zoom in far enough, you get those waves that I'm talking about that kind of go up and down. I'm going to get this track and duplicate it. So I got that track playing twice now on top of each other. Sounds like this, which is relatively normal. But if I zoom in close enough, and now I begin to just move this second track, so I can grab this track and move it to the right and left by a microfraction, what you're going to notice is it sounds like phasing. It phases slightly. Let's have a listen. You see how that works? Just by kind of moving it slightly in and out of each other, it creates a phasing kind of effect. And that's all that's happening when you press the phase button. It's making a duplicate of the track and it's slightly nudging it in and out. Okay, there you go guys. Hope you enjoyed that example. Hope you enjoyed my deep dive into flanging. If you guys like flanging as well, leave a comment below. And if you want me to do a deep dive into any other specific area of DJing, just let me know about it. And if you're new to DJing and you want to get better, go and check out beginnerdjlessons.com. I've got courses, I've got free content. It's freaking awesome. That's it. See you tomorrow.